White to black, hashtag transracial. Why are you cosplaying in someone else's race/ethnicity in order to justify your existence? Please, let me know why. It's giving very much culture vulture. Yeah. I'm gonna need y'all to answer that one. Cause no, we're not doing that today.
Nope. That's right.
What's up, y'all? What's good? What's sizzling? It is your favorite shaded creative, Sholay, signing in for another video. Welcome back. How y'all doing? I miss you guys so much. I know it's been a month since I've been back, but I really felt like I needed a mini break because I had school and work and everything like that, and also YouTube. So I just needed to just chillax, slow my roll a little bit. But don't you worry, I'm going to be coming out with great videos every single week as much as I can and everything like that. So thank you guys still for tuning in and watching my other videos, boosting up the algorithm on my behalf. Thank you guys so very much. In August, I like doing things around my birthday that really help out the community and everything like that. I started doing it as of last year, but because of COVID, it was really difficult to make it much bigger and have other people contribute and help. But this year, I'm going to be going ahead to make care packages / giving away sandwiches, meals to the homeless around Surrey, BC area. So if you are around that area and you'd like to help, I'm gonna have a Google Form survey down below that you can fill out if you'd like to help in any kind of way, contribute to some items that we would need. It would be great, and everything and anything would be much appreciated. So once again, thank you guys. If you're new to my channel, hi, hello, hola, my name is Sholay, and this is my creative entertainment channel where I post social, cultural, and movie commentary. Now let's jump into this video. Well, today I'm going to be discussing the idea / concept behind being transracial, what it actually means, and how people are using it in our society, and how it relates to other things that we perceive that are truly not our realities. Now, my thought process on this discussion came from an array of videos and articles I started to see pop up where people were going ahead to cosplay and look a certain way to portray a certain reality to people that weren't inherently real. At first, we started to see certain people in our society who go ahead and blackfish. I feel like blackfishing really started this whole concept of being transracial because people were going ahead to portray themselves as being a race that they weren't, and it caused people to have some kind of confusion on what that person or who that person really was. And most importantly, I started to see it as a detrimental way, as an erasure for those people who are actually from that specific ethnicity / race. Because if you can go ahead and pretend to be whoever you want to be, whenever you want to be, and feel like you can go ahead and get cosmetic surgery, get lip fillers, and some tanning spray in order to say that you're black, what about the actual people who are black and can't use it as a costume every single day, that have to actually live the realities that you so-called don't have to go through because you can take it off like a mask whenever you want? Yeah, it makes it seem like race is such a trivial thing when it's literally used to define some people's whole entire lives. Yeah, that's something we really need to discuss. Now, before we get in too deep, let us first define what transracial really means in comparison to what people are now using it for in our society. Essentially, the concept of being transracial came from transracial adoption, when someone is adopting someone else from a different race. So essentially, let me give an example. Let's say, for instance, a child from Uganda is being adopted by a white American family. Yes, those are two different races coming together now, and the child is now raised from not only their culture, but the new culture that they're being adopted into. So they now have to navigate the world through their lens of first being adopted by their family and also their original culture, or the other way around, if that makes any sense. Now, with this idea of transracial adoption, I personally have never been for it. I know some people are gonna get mad at me in the comments, but honestly speaking, I feel like you should only be able to adopt children from your own race. Or unless you're willing to do the hard work of actually really understanding the child, where they're from, what are their cultural norms, how are you going to help that child still be raised culturally right, and at the same time not meddle around with how they feel on certain things going on in their lives that have to do with their culture. Because time and time again, we've seen people go ahead and exploit these young children that they're going ahead to adopt for views, for money, and not doing the hard work of actually being an actual parent. And let's be honest, most people out here who are adopting children are doing it for either a check or to check mark that box that, no, I'm not racist in any way, shape, or form. I accept all kinds of people. Look, I have a black child. Yeah, that's embarrassing. My thing is, it's already difficult enough to raise a child in this world that we live in. So why would you go ahead and put yourself in a situation where you're going ahead to raise a child that doesn't have the same cultural background as you? Maybe some people don't find that being an issue, but when it comes to conversations like Black Lives Matter and your child is black and you're white and you haven't seen from their point of view how their lives can possibly be in danger, and you're hella conservative and you don't understand where they're coming from, yeah, that's possibly going to be an issue. Or when you choose not to take care of their hair and let them just look raggedy all the time because you've chosen to not take the time out to learn your child and how their hair works and know their hair typing system, what's their porosity, what products work for their hair, because you believe that possibly relaxing it or keeping it straight is the best thing to do for them all the time. Or going ahead to at least keep them around people who are like them so they don't feel so different, they don't feel so odd, and just merging them in their culture despite the fact it's different from yours. Those things, they're not little, they're actually quite big, can change and make all the difference for your child. And most people ain't ready for all of that.
When did you realize that your white parent should have never have had?
When did I realize that my white parents should have never adopted black children? I realized it when my mom didn't understand why I wanted to join a historically black sorority. I learned it when I thought about all the times I was told that my parents don't see color. I learned it when my parents' biological son / my brother told me that I only got my scholarship to college because I'm black. And I learned it when I remembered growing up that when I would get in trouble, my parents would tell me to shut my cotton picking mouth. So yeah, if you're gonna have children of color, you need to educate yourself a lot better, because now I'm suffering from trauma and trying to heal. And it's not fair whatsoever for any black child to have to go through these things.
And on top of that, one concept that really rubs me the wrong way when it comes to the idea of being a transracial adoptee is the white savior complex. That's something that I probably will do a different video on a different day, how we see it in social media and we see it on TV and how it affects the way we see white people on a regular basis and how Jesus Christ is even portrayed to be a white savior. All of that, I'm doing it in a different video, all right? But I just want to quickly touch on the fact you see my life? Anyways. I just want to quickly touch on the fact of you going ahead to adopt your child does not make you the hero in your child's story. You're not doing them a favor by going ahead to do what you're doing to them. They'll probably be better off not going through all the things that you're putting them through if you just simply didn't adopt them. I know, harsh reality, I know. I'd rather not grow up with parents and grow up with parents and constantly resent them. Maybe that's just me. Maybe some people are gonna call me an airhead, but I can't imagine being brought up by white parents who didn't understand the black struggle, who didn't understand how they have white privilege, and the fact of the historical context of being a white savior in every single person of color, black, indigenous story. Come on now. Let's be real. Now, switching over to the way society goes ahead to speak on or use transracial as now an identity that anybody can now have. In terms of the way society uses the concept of being transracial, I have to compare it to this. I know some people are gonna get mad at me in the comments, but we started to see a rise of that when we started to talk about being transgender. The way that nowadays people can easily just say that they're transgender and do whatever they choose to do, however they might feel, and it affect the people who are actually transgender and are taking it to heart, really shows how insensitive we have become towards certain things. That now you can do whatever you want, your feelings are your truest indicator, and you don't realize the detrimental effects you might be having on other people who are going through something that you're claiming to go through. You know, like most people that I know who transition are super awkward about it at first, like going to the washrooms and everything, or doing like the necessary things for themselves, being transgender. And now we have people going ahead to say, oh yeah, I'm transgender, can I go into the women's washroom and harass women? Like, you know what I mean? It makes that issue much more difficult to speak on. It makes the concept, not necessarily, it is still an issue. I don't know how else to put it. It's an issue and we still need to discuss it. How certain people are nasty enough to pretend to be something that they're not and make the people who are actually going through something have a harder time in society. And then on top of that, now for people who are transracial, actually transracial, who are adopted or in situations where their living conditions are different from where they're ethnically from, them talking about their struggles and their issues and their situations are going to be much harder when nowadays anyone can just post up, oh yeah, white turning to black, transracial. Do you see what you're doing? No? Yeah, that's very upsetting to me. You can't switch yourself from one race to another. You can't switch yourself from one ethnicity to another just because you want to, just because it's something that you've yearned for so long. For these people who are going ahead to pretend like they're transgender or transracial or whatever the case may be, one thing I hope that they note, if you're watching this, or just in general for us as people in society, is that just because we're having a reoccurring feeling towards something, it doesn't mean it should indicate what happens in our reality. Take it however you will. Take it however you will. Don't jump on the bandwagon of trying to assimilate or be part of a culture just because it's trending, just because you feel like you're in tune with hip hop and you've watched all these TV shows now that make you feel that way. Or you've watched all this, K-pop videos online and you listen to all their music and everything like that, and you just love Korean food. Now you feel like you need to be getting surgery on your face so you can claim that you're Korean. Do you know how disrespectful that is? When you don't like being Korean anymore, you can take it off like it's a mask. You can go about your business and still maintain the privilege that you had before you pretended to be Korean.
Well, if you can identify as a woman even though you're born as a man, then how come you can't identify as a different race? First, we need to clarify that race and gender are not the same. The difference between race and gender is that your gender is not inherited. When you are born, you are the race of your parents. If you're born by a white mom and dad, then you're white. If you had black parents, then that would make you black, etc., etc. But when you are born by a biological male and biological female, meaning you do not inherit your gender from your parents. Your gender is your own. Oh, but being transracial is the same thing because they're both born in the wrong body. No, they're not. There's no science behind being transracial, but there's science behind being transgender. The reason why a transgender person feels like they don't belong in their own body is because they were a male but born with a female brain, or the other way around. They have more characteristics in their brain that match the female brain, which is why they feel uncomfortable being in a male body because they don't match. However, there is no science behind being transracial because you cannot be born with the brain of a different race. That's impossible.
Alongside with this ideology of doing things based on feeling, y'all really thought I wasn't going to speak on the whole BBL thing. I know it's kind of far off, but I still wanted to speak about it just a little bit in this video, The fact of the matter is, because now getting BBLs and changing your body is now a trend, people are now doing it just based on feelings, not realizing that they have body dysmorphia. You getting that BBL is not gonna fix your perception on yourself. Just saying. And that would also say for these transracial people, you going ahead to change races is not gonna make you feel more in tune with yourself. You're just doing cosplay, babes. And the thing is, you can't maintain this lifestyle for so long. You can't. Eventually, it's gonna blow up in your face. We saw that with Rachel Dolezal. Come on. She did it for so long, and the minute it blew up in her face, it blew up in her face. Like, who's heard from her since then? Who? Like, you can go ahead and do all these things to try to change and adjust your life, but how you really are is who you're still going to be afterwards. After the procedure. After getting your face done, after pretending that you're someone that you're not, you are still going to be that same person. So what are you going to do about that? I honestly believe anything done out of vanity in terms of cosmetic surgery is wrong. Like, before I was okay with it and I thought, you know, it's not that big of a deal. People should do whatever they want with their lives, because it's always this common misconception that, you know, I don't need to listen to you. You can't tell me what to do with my body. You're already listening to society giving you a perception of what beauty needs to be like or what is acceptable. And then you feed into that and implement it in your own life. Like, where's the lie? Where's the lie? Yeah, you can hide behind the filters and the Photoshop and all of the other stuff in the world, but we can still see you. It's a translucent screen, babes. Your reality is a translucent screen. But anyways, I don't want to be too rude. I don't want to cut too deep. You know what I'm saying? I'm just coming back. You have to get to a point where your loving and how you care for yourself is from within. It is not easy at all. As a dark-skinned girl in a place that is suburbia, I can relate. It's not easy, but you have to get to that point, or every little thing out here that makes you feel insecure, you're gonna act on it and you'll regret it. Is it your identity that you're insecure about? Is it your physicality that you're insecure about? Is it your spirituality that you're insecure about? All these things will be tested, and how you act will determine who you really are. Hate to break it to you. And in talking about being transracial and everything like that, I wanted to really bring it to the way that we're able to make people perceive us in society, yeah? I know that when I was talking about BBLs and everything and talking about being transgender and everything like that, those are different ways that you're able to have people perceive you in society, yes? And I did talk about society and how it affects the way we see ourselves and how we emulate that in our realities. But I also wanted to speak about how companies play a part in this. We are now so welcoming at the fact that we can change anything about ourselves at any given time. But it becomes more detrimental when we start to see companies use celebrities and influencers, use certain products, and then give us this idea that we can also look like that as well. And if everything else seems so easy, like a quick fix, a quick product that you can put on your face and look a certain way, even if it actually doesn't work, it also translates into the bigger things that we now see, where people feel like they can go ahead and change certain parts of themselves at any point in time and not see any issue with it, any problem with it, because they've been able to do it with everything else, every single product out for everyone to see in this billion-dollar beauty industry. They can now do it to themselves and change their perception, not understanding the underlying issues that go with it. At the end of the day, it boils down to vanity. How much are you willing to pay in order to look the way you want, in order to be the person you want to be? And are you willing to pay even if it costs you your life? Anyways, that is a deeper conversation for a different day, okay? But hopefully with a few words of mine, y'all understand what I'm talking about. All right, y'all, that is the end of my video. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. And the question for today is Android or Apple? Let me know what you think. I honestly used to be an Android babe, but then Apple kind of got my heart slowly. It was first the phone, and now I'm feeling for a laptop and all these other things. Yeah, Apple kind of got my heart. Let me know what you think down below. All right, y'all, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below and hit that notification bell on the side, and check out my social media platforms on the side as well. It is your favorite frustrated creative, Sholay, signing out of this video. And remember, God made you special and he loves you very much. And you can do anything you set your mind to with Christ, of course. All right, y'all. Peace.
You know what I'm talking about? Bring it back.